Hello friends, I'm Tim Wildsmith, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the new verse-by-verse edition of the ESV Preaching Bible from Crossway. Okay, it's release week for the ESV Preaching Bible verse-by-verse edition. Great Bible. A lot of people have been excited about this. I'm actually going to do 2 videos this week about this Bible. In this first one, I'm going to walk through this Bible, show you everything so you can kind of see it and determine if it's the right one for you. And then I'm going to do a second video this week where I compare this one to the original Preaching Bible. And let me just tell you, it's more than just the fact that this one is verse by verse and the other one's not. There's a few different specs that have changed that I want to show you so you can kind of see the differences. You might like the other one better, you might like this one better. And that's what this is all about, helping you find a Bible that's right for you. I'm convinced that if you do that, you're going to want to spend more time in the Bible, that you're going to get more out of it, that it's going to influence your relationship with Jesus in a really, really positive way. And so that's why I'm doing this. So as I go through this, if you have questions about this Bible, leave a comment. I will get back to you. I would love it if you would like this video and definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to see more great Bible content. All right, here we go. The ESV Preaching Bible verse-by-verse edition. Okay, first things first, this Bible comes in a really lovely 2-piece box. There you see the design on the front, Preaching Bible verse-by-verse edition. Really well delivered here. There's the back, all the information. It comes wrapped up in this really nice velvety cloth. And there it is. Okay, inside the pledge card, all the information about your warranty. Let me get this stuff out of the way. And there you can just see the Bible. Really lovely, looks great. There's a lot of dialogue last year. Let's just talk about this. There's a lot of dialogue last year about Crossway moving production of their premium quality Bibles to China from the Netherlands. They were at Royal Youngblood. R.R. Donnelly is now doing them in China. Let me bring one of those in here. And you know, I tend to think that some of that dialogue was a little bit overblown, but I do notice, I did notice a difference between their new ones and the previous ones that were made in the Netherlands. And one of the things, this is the first Bible that I ever reviewed for Bible Review Blog. It's the Heirloom single column personal size Bible. And one of the things I noticed, and you can kind of see just the difference here, is that it has a little bit of a wider grain, where this new one has a tighter grain. And I've mentioned in all the Bibles that I've had from last year's runs in China that they have kind of a softer, rougher texture to them. And this one, the new verse-by-verse Preaching Bible, is not like that. It's got a smoother texture, a tighter grain. In my opinion, it feels nicer than this one. It feels like they've made some sort of changes to it. It's got about the same thickness. It still has that soft, nice liner on the inside, the gold gild line. There's some similarities, but it does feel to me like it's been an upgrade. Also, the paper. You see this one has this really bright white paper. Nice 36 GSM. I thought it looked really nice, and it's hard to kind of tell in these videos, but this one is definitely less of a bright white and more of a creamy white. It looks really sharp. Same weight, 36 GSM, but this one feels more opaque to me. And so in those 2 areas that a lot of people have criticized some of the ones from last year, it seems like this new one, the verse-by-verse Preaching Bible, has addressed some of those issues, and I do think that it's really well done. When I opened the box, I said, oh wow, this is nice. This reminds me more of the older ones. Great texture there you see. It's got a perimeter stitch around the outside. On the side over here we get 4 raised hubs, Holy Bible, ESV, English Standard Version, and the Crossway logo. It is a edge-lined Bible. It's got a nice little gold gilt line. I love the texture of this liner on the inside. It's got a Smith sewn text block. So it's really well made. It's going to hold up over time, and it does. It just looks really sharp. As far as size goes, this Bible is 6 1/4 inches wide by 9 1/8 inches tall, and with the cover I measure it at 1 7/8 inches thick, so almost 2 inches thick. So from the outside, really sharp. It's a big, sturdy Bible. I will say the goatskin is very, very floppy, and yet the hinge of this Bible, it's pretty stiff, so it's going to flop a little bit, but it's very lovely. It's well made. Now moving to the inside of the Bible, we get a couple of blank sheets up here. Let me move this and center it over for you. I think I skipped yep, there's the presentation page. title page, Holy Bible. On the inside, this tells us on the copyright page that this is the Preaching Bible verse by verse edition, printed in China. You get the preface to the ESV up front. Features of this Bible, and then the Old Testament. There you have Genesis. So you see it's kind of stiff up here, but then you can push this down. It's a thick Bible, so it's going to look really nice. Just open it up here kind of to a more flat area, and you see that the main feature of this is that, yes, it is a verse-by-verse text. I'll bring this up and let you see this a little bit. This is a 9.75 point font, so just a hair under 10-point lexicon typeface. It's line matched on 36 GSM paper, and it's lined up on verse-by-verse format. So that means that each verse begins its own little indented new paragraph, as opposed to where these are normally paragraph Bibles where they just go one verse after another, each verse. Similar to the other preaching Bible, it's got slightly bolded verse numbers with a little bit of space around them, easier to find, but then also verse by verse. You can see that they've added in to let you know when you're getting a new paragraph. You have this little symbol there. So because essentially every verse starts its own indented paragraph, this is to tell you actually the text has a new paragraph beginning here. Okay, grammar and English nerds, what is that symbol called? A pilcrow. It's called a pilcrow. Bonus 5 points if you knew what that was. I don't know what the 5 points is for, but you get the bonus 5 points. So that's the verse-by-verse setting. You see out here on the margins, you get a 1.25, so 1 1/4 inch margin over here on this Bible. So the idea here is, and I say this about preaching Bibles all the time, you don't have to be a preacher to use it, but it's made with the preacher in mind. So verse by verse is because as you're preaching, it's just easier to find your place when you're referencing individual verses. The margins are so you can write your notes over here and remind yourself, I want to say this when I'm preaching about this verse, or I want to make sure that I have everything covered. So that's what this is about. It looks really, really beautiful. I love the typesetting. So practically, if you are preaching, it's really easy. But then again, if you're just listening to your pastor and he says, hey, find Nehemiah 8 verse 8, you're like, boom, it's right there. I find it really, really quickly because I know where it is and I can see it very easily. I do want to show you that here in the books of poetry, this is not a poetic typesetting where it does line breaks. It's the exact same format throughout the Bible. So no matter whether it's a paragraph setting, a poetic setting, it does this where they indent the verse, it goes full the way across, second line is not indented, and then the verse changes and they do it again. So that's how this whole Bible is set up. Again, bold verse numbers, a little bit of extra space, 9.75 font, line matched, 36 GSM paper, so you can actually write on this and you won't have to stress about it. Getting here into the New Testament, there is one change in the New Testament, and that is that you can start to get cross-references. You notice in the Old Testament, you just get your textual footnotes at the bottom, but there are no cross-references in the Old Testament. There are cross-references in the New Testament, but there's just two different kinds. First, anytime the New Testament is directly quoting the Old Testament, they let you know that down here. So over here you can see there's something from Zechariah 11:13 being quoted up here. I really like that with Paul because Paul is often quoting the Old Testament, and it's nice to know, okay, what's he getting at here? What's his point? I can go back and study those Old Testament passages and find that out. So that's one of the cross-references. Anytime it's a direct quotation of the Old Testament in the New Testament, they give you that down here. And then also, anytime you're in the Gospels, they'll tell you if there's a parallel passage in one of the other Gospels. So it'll say, look at the parallel passage. Over here, it's telling you where this section of Matthew, there's parallel passages in Mark and Luke and John. So you can go and, as you're preparing to teach this, or as you're just reading it on your own and studying it, you can go, okay, I'm going to go look at what the other Gospels had to say about this same theme, this same moment, this same storyline in the Gospels. I think that's really cool. Other than that, the page layout is identical throughout the entire Bible with the verse-by-verse setting, the pilcrows. Oh, one thing to note, the Psalms, I noticed, they take the pilcrows out in the Psalms. So when there's a new paragraph, they're just giving you verse-by-verse here in the same setting. When you get to the end of this Bible, at the end of Revelation, almost there. So if you're wondering, it ends on page 1751. You get a table of weights and measures, and you do get a concordance. That's a little bit of a change from the preaching Bible, the first one. So you do get the full ESV concordance in here. And then after the concordance, you get a few blank sheets of paper that separate the concordance. If I can show them to you, It's all Bible paper back here. You get a few blank sheets of paper if you want to have some additional notes or anything back there. And then you get on a glossier cardstock, the ESV Bible maps. So again, the big new thing about this Bible is that it's a verse-by-verse layout, but it kind of keeps a lot of the same preaching Bible thoughts and ideas that Crossway had for this Bible, but there's a couple of different little twists. Again, check back later this week. I'm going to do a second video where I compare this side by side with the original preaching Bible so you can see some of those more specific changes and differences. But overall, great Bible, looks good, easy to read, very functional. So there you have it. It's the ESV Preaching Bible verse by verse edition. Really cool Bible. I think it's got some great features. I would love to know what you think, so leave a comment below and let me know. I'll put some links in the description to where you can find a place to read more about this Bible, to buy this Bible. Definitely check out BibleReviewBlog.com, where I've got a full write-up of this Bible as well as more great photos. Visit us on Instagram and Facebook. We've got a great community out there gathering around Bible Review Blog. And if you would, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of great Bible content coming your way very soon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.